Hello everybody, this is Michael from Valor Recon here, today with another Valorant video. In today's video, we are talking about Riot x Arcane and how you can make sure you are getting the most rewards for the least amount possible. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through every step of getting every reward for Riot x Arcane, as now pretty much all of them have been revealed, and so I can kind of give you a step-by-step, this is how you do this is how you do that, so I can save you time, but you can still get these pretty awesome rewards. So we're going to break this up into different parts, and you can see those in the timestamps on the video, so if you already have one of these, you can skip past that. But without further ado, here we go. So before we jump into anything, let's talk about what you can get from this event. There are essentially 5 different ways of getting Riot x Arcane rewards. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, one of them has already passed, and that's that Fishbone buddy you see up there. You had to watch the Arcane premiere live, and that was actually before the creation of this channel. So that's the one reward here you can't get, but everything else is still very much obtainable. So we're going to talk about these in order, but this is just kind of a general overview of everything you can get. Alright, so this next part is the most difficult and time-consuming part, and that's where I think most people are going to want help. You have to go through Riot's Riot x Arcane story, which is kind of this web game, but there are certain steps you have to take, and some people are going to go and do too many steps, some people aren't going to be able to find it out, so this will just be a nice little step-by-step guide so that you can zoom through it as fast as possible. Without further ado, let's jump into that. Alright, so the first step is to head over to the link that you see on your screen right now. Once you're over there, you'll need to log into your Riot account. And once you've done that, you'll see a button that says Explore Now. Once you click on that, you kind of begin this little game, and so this will be completely from the beginning. Now, this first part is a little bit slow, and essentially it's setting up the story of the entire web game, and you do not need to know any of it to get these rewards. You can very, very simply just watch this or just leave it in the background and get through all that. So let's speed this up. Alright, so once you're through that, you end up in game. I recommend muting the sound, but essentially you just want to keep clicking, and as long as it says tap to continue, they're going to go through the story of the game. Again, this is going to be sped up footage in the background just because, again, it's not that big of a deal. I do recommend pausing this video and you can do the steps as we go. But this, you have to do no matter what Riot game you're trying to get rewards for. You kind of have to go through at least the main story here. Alright, so essentially this character is going to put you on a little bit of a task. However, what you can do is completely ignore that and just go up to your map. So if you go up to the map in the upper left, and then click on Killjoy's lab, you get to the Valorant section. Now here, what you're going to have to do is talk to Phoenix. Again, this dialogue here is not important. It is something you can do now. If you played this game before, it had you do this big quest where you tried to find a Poro snack and you did all that. If you're playing from this point on, it doesn't actually have you do that, and so you can get into this a lot faster than you used to be able to. But now you basically just click through the dialogue, you kind of swipe up to the right, and you go ahead and click on Killjoy's screen. Then you go and you just go slightly more to the left and click on Killjoy. Killjoy is basically going to say, oh, I have my notes. You want to scroll all the way back to Phoenix, and you do that by just clicking and dragging, and you want to click on the notes right there. You can read those if you want. If you're interested in the lore, there's some really interesting stuff, but you can just go straight back to Killjoy and just click the middle option. That is the only thing in this entire section that requires you to click on a specific option. The rest you can just click on random options when it gives you that choice. Then you need to click on the coffee machine, and then click on Killjoy again. Not very difficult. But yeah, that is kind of the last time you'll talk to Killjoy. The next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to scroll over to the left and talk to Jet. So you'll go talk to Jet, and Jet will basically just tell you to go talk to Yoru, and that will be the end of the quest. So, it took, probably going to take, 4 or 5 minutes. It's not difficult. She is going to tell you to go play Valorant. You can click the play button, and then just click X, and then talk to her again, and just click yeah. And essentially, you don't actually have to play a game of Valorant there. They're just trying to get you to play it if you maybe aren't into Valorant and you're playing this because of League. But yeah, you do not have to play that game there. And then you go up and talk to Yoru, and none of this really matters. And he will basically give you the Poro buddy. And that'll be the first quest that you do. Now, getting the second one is a little bit more complicated. In terms of you do have to go back to the main storyline a little bit, but it does not take a while, and then actually the Valorant part is pretty simple. So you'll get this little pop-up that says one agent's trash, and then it'll tell you, hey, you got the buddy, and it will appear in your account. So now let's jump into the second thing you can get. So essentially you got to come down here and talk to Phoenix, and this is just to finish this up. He'll basically have you play this like Valorant-like game where you're shooting at targets. How you do on this really doesn't matter, so I'm just going to speed through it. Alright, so once you complete that game, it'll just tell you finished it, and now you have to go back to the main quest. So essentially you're going to click on the map and go back to the lab. Now, once you're at the lab, you're just going to talk to the guy, and again, go through all the dialogue. You do not really need to pay attention to this, so again, I'm just going to speed through it. Essentially, through all of that dialogue, they told you to go to the lanes, and you're essentially going to get a little pop-up here that's going to say some stuff, and then you can scroll to the right, and you will find this figure standing here, and you just talk to him, and he'll have a little bit of dialogue for you, and at this point, you are almost done. You just answer his couple of questions, and he will tell you, hey, yeah, I'm the thief, yada yada, and then from this point, you can go to all the different games territories and get stuff. So as soon as it says catch a thief, you don't actually need to go talk to him again in the lab. You can just go to Killjoy's lab. You go talk to him in his lab, and then you go to Killjoy's lab, and this will be basically the end of what you need to do with Riot X Arcane. There are only those two things, with the exception of if you have Prime Gaming, and that's what we're going to talk about here in a second. But once you get through all of this dialogue, which does take an admittedly long amount of time, you will jump back to Killjoy's lab, and you'll notice that there's a little glowing sparkly spot. So let's jump over there. So we're going to go over here and go to Killjoy's lab. And we're going to go kind of up the stairs, and you'll notice there's this new spot here, and if you click on it, it says Metal Shark's Tooth. You click on it, and boom, you get the spray for Valorant. So as you can tell, that didn't take too long, and you can get some pretty awesome rewards from that. And that is actually the second to last thing. The last thing still involves Riot X Arcane, so don't close out of that website yet, but it's something that technically hasn't been released yet as of the filming and uploading of this video. But let's talk about it a little bit. So, if we unblur the background, let's take a look. So we've talked about what you can get on Riot X Arcane, and we have a couple more things. First, let's talk about the Arcane Jinx player card, because it requires you to be in Riot X Arcane, at least I think. So it says, keep an eye out for details on how to get your hands on this new player card, meaning they haven't officially revealed how you're going to get it. But there's one really big clue in Riot X Arcane, which I'm going to show off here, where you can kind of see how you're going to get it, but it is going to require Prime Gaming. Alright, so if you go back to Riot X Arcane and click on Art Districts, you can get here. If you go left, there is this little, I don't know, shark thing, and you can click on it and click Go to Site. This will take you to Prime Gaming in like a loot section that you can't normally get to, and you'll notice there's one for Valorant content coming soon. Now, there has been nothing revealed about this on a website saying, oh, you can get stuff through Prime Gaming, and there's also been nothing revealed about this Jinx card. There's also nothing else in game for Riot X Arcane. So we have a reward we don't know what it's going to be, and a reward we don't know how we're going to get, and so the odds that those two are together are quite high. So yeah, if you check that out, you can get it. I'm also going to leave a link to that Prime Gaming thing in the description if you don't want to reboot up Riot X Arcane. There'll also be a link to Riot X Arcane in the description. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. Now, I don't know when that's going to come out. I assume it'll be with the release of the final act, which should be happening Friday, so I would check back around Friday. Either way, let's talk about the Arcane Pass and the Arcane Bundle, and that'll be everything you can get. So the first thing, and this is something you can get completely for free, is the Riot X Arcane Pass. Now, if you've been playing Valorant recently, you've probably already seen this, but in case you haven't, essentially it's a second battle pass that you can see at the top of the play menu, as you're seeing on your screen right now. And when you click on that, it has kind of extra tiers you can get. And from there, you get the following items. The Arcane title, the Welcome to the Undercity player card, 10 Radianite points, the Calculated spray, the Liar title, the Arcane Embrace player card, 10 more Radianite, a Boom spray, a Cupcake title, and an Arcane Cupcake gun buddy. Again, all you have to do is get XP for these. There's nothing you have to pay, and it's relatively easy. You only need 62,500 XP, which is about 2 sets of weeklies, and so because of that, you're going to get these relatively easy just by playing the game. Now, something that isn't as free is the Riot X Arcane Bundle, so let's take a look at that. The bundle is much simpler in concept. If you want to spend 2,377 Valorant points, you can get all of the contents of the bundle. Now, just note, unlike most bundles, you actually cannot buy these individually, so you can't just pick out the gun skin and not the other ones. So keep that in mind. But what does it contain? Well, it contains 5 items. It contains the Arcane Sheriff, the Arcane kind of spray, there's a buddy, there's a card, and there's a title. Now, let's take a look at that gun skin really quickly. Alright, so that is everything that you can get for Riot X Arcane. It's a lot of stuff in a lot of different places, so I thought this video might be useful. It's also a nice walkthrough of Riot X Arcane in case you're wanting to get that done in as quick as time possible. This is obviously a new channel for me, so if you could subscribe and leave a like, that would mean the world. I am doing a lot of experimentation with the style of content I want to do. I did kind of a chamber thoughts video, if you want to check that out, with some chamber gameplay in the background, and now I'm doing this one as more of a tutorial guide style. Let me know what kind of content you want to see, and we will see what happens going forward. I will see you guys in the next one.